Hey everyone, I'm Melissa Hambrick Jackson, President of Eagle Center for Leadership. Welcome to Digging In. Digging In is talking with leaders who have been on that leadership journey. They've had experiences and they've learned what it takes to really dig in and have definable moments that transform their leadership and continue to help them to grow. We want to learn from leaders. We want to ask them questions. We want to pick their brain. We want to be able to have insights so that we can be challenged as leaders and we can move our leadership forward. So today we have Dr. Larry Little, who is CEO of Eagle Center for Leadership. Thank you, Larry, for joining us on this first Digging In.
How about that? The very first episode, first interview. Are you excited, Melissa? Aren't you
I'm
just excited?
so excited. I really am. This is going to be quite a journey.
I am so excited because you are awesome at doing these interviews and really getting into the mind and creating insight from leaders. But I'm really excited about what it's going to give the people who are our clients and those even beyond that, from our coaches, to be able to have a tool and access into these leaders. I mean, it's rare. I'm pretty pumped about it. So and wow, golly, you asked me to be the very first one. I don't know if you did that just because you felt obligated, but I'm glad you did
Well, I did some twisting of the arm, but here we are. So,
I'm
well,
glad you did.
thank you. Well, we all know that that you have had COVID, and a
Yeah.
lot of us have had an opportunity to listen to your podcast and just learn a lot about you and about personalities through that. But start us off with an update. How are you doing? How are things at this point? We're 10 weeks into this. Tell me how you are.
I'm fully recovered. I'm doing great. I feel good. My energy levels back. It was a virus. It was a bad bug, but using common sense, quarantine, common sense, doing the things that I was supposed to do. I'm great and glad to be recovered. Glad to be back in action and glad to be full of antibodies. So it's all good. Maybe that's our next business venture, Melissa. We'll sell my antibodies to people. Who knows?
Oh, well, we need some. Some of us need some. So,
True.
quite an experience that you've been through, and I know you've learned a lot through that. So, and even just in this time in our business and walking through the difficult days that we've had and walking with our clients,
Hmm.
what are some things? Because we're talking today, we want to focus on, how can we be successful in this new normal, and what does that look like? And so let's just start off by could you tell us what are some things that you've learned during this time that you really want to carry forward because you think that you needed those changes, or you've had some insights that can help you be a stronger leader. What would those things be?
Yeah, I've learned so much, and don't you just love learning though? I mean, I love
Mm,
learning, and I wanna learn till I take my very last breath. But man, I've learned a lot through this. I've learned that my old perceptions, my old thought process of how work can get done is flawed. That yes, we can be productive working from home. I mean, you've led our team to continue virtual coaching and we're working on creating new opportunities around seminars virtually. I've learned that, I guess on the other side of that coin, I've learned that I can be a bit of a workaholic, and I have to be careful, right?
mhm.
I call it zombie in and just create a whole day full of Zoom meetings and coaching calls and uh, emails. And before I know it, I've worked longer at home than I did even when I would go into
Mm.
the office. So I've learned that I need some boundaries in my life, and I've learned that I need going forward. I'm going to really try to be more intentional about that, and try to, try to focus on the people that are important to me, without the computer and the iPhone, the iPad, and all that. I think I just think it's important that we do that. And but I've also learned that it is pretty cool to have Zoom meetings when you can wear shorts and flip flops too. Yeah, right. I mean, I might be wearing
Now,
shorts right now. You wouldn't know. Who
now,
knows?
so let us ask you really quick, what is on your feet
Right now.
right this
Well,
moment?
I will tell you
Shoes?
because
Flip-flops?
yeah, I've got to run some errands in a minute. So yeah, I have shoes on right now. But that is not always the case. You just caught me on a good day.
Good, good. So you've learned a lot,
Yeah.
and want to move some of those things forward. Anything you feel like, hey, I don't want to move this forward. This is where I want to kind of draw a line and change this behavior. What would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just exactly that. I really don't want to, move the workaholism forward. I don't want to work that out of balance
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's so easy to get out of balance when you work from home, right? And I really want to. I want to be able to leave that part behind, and let's get another season of life where I'm in better, so I can enjoy life and enjoy work both, right?
So, some of those things that you were talking about, it's just really hard to make changes. Just really hard not to work all the time when you see these tasks and you see these things that need to be accomplished and you feel the pressure. So, thank you for telling us about that and just kind of reminding us to have some boundaries around some of those behaviors that probably all of us have some. So you talked about yourself. Thank you for that. So, shifting gears just a little bit. So, what do you see that leaders in general, what kind of characteristics in general do you see that they need in order to be successful in this new normal, in order to lead successfully, in order to really lead their teams to the next level? What do you say? What kind of characteristics do they need?
As I've talked to leaders and listen and learn from them, it's obvious to me that those who are truly successful in any type of change, change is not, this isn't a new thing that we're going through change. We've been changing, the world's been changing since the beginning of time. But those leaders who have the ability to adapt, who possess that
Mm-hmm.
ability to, the big buzzword pivot, those are leaders that can pivot, but can be flexible and adapt. I think it's critical going into this new time that we're able to not be stuck. Don't be stuck in the past. Don't be stuck running, so looking into the future. I think you have to do both. I think you have to look to the past and then look to the future. And so those leaders that can do that can look both backwards and frontwards and have that adaptability to change, I think it's important. I think those leaders who have the strength to be persevere, to be able to continue to walk through, if you will, regardless of the obstacles, that are determined to do that inner strength that you have, that causes a leader to carry on in spite of the difficulty. That's something that's innate, and I think it's something that you can choose to grow and develop as you're growing your leadership muscles. But right now, that skill set of perseverance, I think, is really important. And I think, moving forward, that ability um, to have the energy and the positivity to lead those around you, to not allow yourself to spiral into to despair or to panic or to those kinds of
Mm-hmm.
things, is really important. That you have that attitude of yes, it's hard. Awareness, it is hard, but the attitude of, we're going to make it through this. I think those are some things that flexibility, that perseverance, having the right attitude through it. I think those are maybe a few things that could help us as we
Mm-hmm.
enter into this new phase.
Mm. A lot of the things you're saying, I think, are so key, but hard for us. It can really be hard for leaders of different personalities and
Yeah.
different styles. I think about how we've all talked as a team, even at times, that we don't want to be way over on the end where we're tasking so much that we're missing some opportunities, nor do we want to be way on the passive end where we're disconnected. As leaders, we really want to figure out what are the areas that we need to work on and have some awareness around that, and try to be in that middle
Yeah.
ground, and try
Yeah.
to recognize, where are you on the spectrum, and how do
Right.
you work to keep yourself in the middle,
True.
and be successful with that, so that you understand others, right? All of this is
Right.
not about ourselves and us just focusing on ourselves and leading ourselves, although that's difficult. It's really about leading ourselves well so we can impact and lead others
That's right.
and
That's
really
right.
understand them and understand their style. So those
Man, listen,
relationships.
you get this leadership stuff. You ought to think about, running a leadership organization or
I want to get it. I really do. I want to
something.
get it.
That's
So,
awesome.
so as we finish up, thank you for letting us just kind of pick your brain. But you've got 3 tips for us. You've got 3 points
Yeah.
that you want to hone in on, and we want to listen. So tell us 3 tips for this new normal.
Yeah, and I hope that this will be a help. I just have
Mm,
3 easy things. I have to have things easy so I can remember, but hopefully you can remember this as you go through and lead in your life. But the first thing is that we need to reframe this whole thing, and
mm,
instead of seeing it as an inconvenience, instead of seeing it as something that has stalled our business or crushed us, which all of those are true,
mm,
perhaps. But I'm not minimizing. I'm just saying reframe our thought to see it as an opportunity. This
mm,
is an incredible opportunity for all of us. I'm not minimizing the hurt nor the tragedy, but that many have experienced in so many ways. But I am saying we get to choose how we move forward. And moving into this new normal, it's about reframing how we are thinking, reframing our thought processing, if you will, from
mm,
looking at it as hopeless, or look for, what are we going to do through our, no, 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 this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to what? And I think that's the second thing. It's an opportunity to refocus. So if we reframe it a from this panic and this huge to an opportunity, the second thing we have to do is refocus. It's an opportunity for us to refocus, not just on to refocus on not just living in the past, and not just living in the future, but hey, wow, what a great opportunity to say, hold on, I have learned some things through this. I know we can work differently. I know
mm,
we can work more efficiently in this way, less efficiently in this. I know now that teams are going to look different. I know now that we can engage differently, but it's not all or none
mm,
thinking here. It's refocusing and developing a strat plan around what works, what doesn't, and allowing ourselves to really all of us should build a new strat plan for our leadership, for our lives different, no matter what,
mm,
whether it's entertainment, whether it's work, whether it's, whatever it is, working out, it all is going to look a bit differently. Let's refocus on the things we need to make that successful. Let's look at
mm,
that and define those, create a strat plan around what's
mm,
going to work, what's not, what are action items for that. And then the last thing I would say is if we reframe and then we refocus on those things, let's not get so caught up and getting back to things being normal that we forget to renew. And
mm.
I think it's
That's a good
really
one.
important. I think so. I think that even while we're at home, what has happened, at least I can attest to this, that there are times when I get so caught up in working and Zoom meetings and emails and those kind of
Mm,
things that I kind of become a zombie, if you will, to
mm,
the computer. And
mm,
I'm not. And really, if we think about it, it's not so much about burning ourselves out that's the real threat.
mm,
Many times, it's about freezing out those that we love. It's about those that
mm,
that need our attention and need our affirmation, our love, our relationship, and they get a zombie. So I had an executive tell me yesterday. He said, Larry, and he's a seasoned executive. He's a global leader, and he said, I found I was working harder and longer at home than I was in the office. And what really rocked my world, what really caused me to change, if you will, was my wife told me, she came in the room and she said, it's easier when you're gone physically than when you're here physically, but you're not here.
mm,
And he said
mm,
that caught my attention, that I had to create space to
mm.
invest in that relationship. So make sure we renew
Yeah.
our soul, make sure we renew ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually, to
Mm,
do those things, renew, keep those relationships renewed that need to be renewed. Don't lose our focus. We as leaders can task ourselves into oblivion, and it's a
mm,
great that opportunity is there for us to turn the corner and hit the ground running. But no, make sure we step back and take time to renew. So reframe this as an opportunity, refocus on the things that work, and make sure we renew ourselves on an ongoing basis, and we renew the relationships that are important to us.
Such a great word. Thank you for that. So I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you, those that are listening to us, fellow leaders. Thank you. Thank you that, you've struggled through this time, and you are continuing to look at how do you impact lives? How do you lead differently? And so you think through, how do you need to reframe things? What does that look like for you? Get that picture, that vision for what you want. Refocus. How do you pull yourself out of the ditch that you might find yourself in, or just pull yourself over to an area where you really need to get some focus so that you can realign things in your life? And then how do you need to renew? What does that look like? What do you need to be able to focus on so that you can give yourself some energy, you can renew, you can find some balance in your life, because we need to lead well in this area in order to lead others. Very, very difficult. But thank you for allowing us to be with you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to dig in with you. Thank you, Larry, that you let us look inside to you and where you are and what you've been through and how you constantly dig in on a daily basis. Thank you for allowing us to discover some insights from the things that you said today. So we look forward to joining you again in our second piece. You'll see that in the month of July. Help us learn, help us grow, give us some feedback, but dig in and make a difference.